Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of January 4th, 2021. Every week we chat about the things parents are talking about, complaining about, and obsessing about right now. I'm Nicole Erdix, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
This week we are complaining about our family's New Year's resolutions and obsessing about what might happen in 2021. We're also taking a couple of breaks for an entertainment discussion and a recommendation roundup. Today we are talking about the New Year's resolutions we actually made last year, and I guess if we ever stuck to them. So, yes, we did record them, we posted them, and we are going to look back and see how we did, and if we need to have a fresh start for 2021. So, I guess, Terry, do you want to go first?
But first, let's see what Terry was resolving this time last year.
Probably my parenting-related resolution should just be to leave things alone and to certainly not feel like I have to talk my daughter through every crisis she has, like I did when she was little, and to allow her to talk without feeling like I have to respond and solve whatever she's talking to me about. I should just let her talk. I think she would be very happy if I made that resolution. I think we both would be happier, because what happens is she comes and tells me something, and then I start talking, and then she's late for work. So we need to stop that. She's either late for work, or she goes, for some reason we have talks when she's about to go to work. She comes in for me to tie her apron, and we start talking, and then she's either crying or late. So I definitely should stop that. But just in general, my kids are adults. I probably should just not feel like I need to be cruise director anymore. I should probably just calm down. Well, it was easy because 2020 went exactly the way we all expected, so it's not like there was any novel situations or stresses to be encountered. Smooth sailing, right? However, as I look back on my resolution, I think I did pretty good. I said I was going to leave things alone and not endlessly talk my daughter through her crises. And, well, I wouldn't say I've done that 100%, but I've done that more. That's something, right? And I've definitely stopped with the giving her a lengthy lecture before she heads off to work. That was definitely a problem. And I am, every now and then we get into that situation. I say, wait a minute, stop. We're not going to do this now. Go to work. We'll do this later. And then later, maybe we do or do not get into it. But, it's continued to be tricky to try to parent a now 30-year-old, and yet impossible not to. So I do better and worse from week to week, but I think I still am remaining mindful of that and trying to back off when I can and trying to let her handle things when I can. And it's worked out well when I have been capable of exercising that restraint. Good. So yay me. And I do think I have calmed down to some degree. Maybe blood pressure medication had something to do with that. Yay. Mm-hmm. And, the bit about having to be cruise director, well, there hasn't been much of a cruise this year, so.
Definitely not.
So that's made it somewhat easier. Everybody's just been home. So for this year ahead, I think my resolution is going to be to try to be more focused in my work so that I have more time for my family. Let us all have a hearty laugh at the prospects of that. We'll be enjoying that next year. What a funny joke Terry made. But looking at ways to try to make better use of my time during work so that, we had game night for part of the year this year, and that was really fun and really good, and then my work started getting in the way, and I started opting out more and more and more, and then it just kind of fell apart. So I'd like to be able to do that again. I'd like to be able to do things and not always be, have my nose in a laptop. So that's my resolution for this year, is to get my work act together so that I am not working 24/7 and have more time to meddle in my children's life as I had resolved not to do last year. So
these two things might be counterproductive.
My kids might say, don't you have work?
We liked it when you were working.
Yes, that has been a refuge for all of us from time to time.
How about you, Catherine? How have you handled your resolutions this past year, and then what do you intend to do in 2021?
Let's hear what Catherine was resolving this time last year.
I don't really do resolutions. And, when it comes to I don't know. Like in the past, I've sort of given up on things too easily. So maybe that's what I need to work on is, if I feel strongly about something or if I'm, trying to achieve a particular goal with my kids, then I need to just be a little more persistent. Yeah, well, last year I said that I needed to not back off. In contrast to Terry's.
It's just a seesaw.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, in many ways, because of 2020 being what it was, of course I had to lean in more on making sure things got done. Let's just say, whether I was successful at that is another story, but I at least had to try. Yeah, I mean, I did that, but I also, it's a work in progress for sure, in terms of school, and the level of involvement that is required, because it's a very delicate balance, in terms of being on top of it so that my kid is on top of it and being in their face so much that they shut down. So that's definitely still a work in progress. I mean, I feel like every resolution for 2020 had to be, given a great deal of grace.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one knew what was coming. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't that the truth?
And I mean, I've definitely rolled with the punches, that's for sure. I think we all have, especially if I'm just continuing to think mostly about school. It has changed almost every day.
Right.
So yeah, my resolution for next year is to just keep working on ways to, help my kid do what they need to do, get motivated. We recorded a whole episode about this actually, a couple of months ago, because the motivation part is the part that's challenging us all. So just need to keep looking for ways to make that work.
Good.
Your turn, Nicole.
Let's hear what Nicole was resolving this time last year.
That's my big resolution is I've got to try and just not be as
accessible,
emotionally invested. Accessible, exactly. Especially at 2 a.m. That stuff, I need to stop. I've got to let my daughter in particular, I've got to let her start to figure stuff out and not get anxious when she's not doing things the way I want her to.
Yes. They are so stubborn that way.
I know. If you just did what the advice that you wanted me to share.
Right.
Anyway.
If we could just tap into our inner teen and 20-something young adults, Nicole, when we had these same conversations with our mothers and felt exactly
didn't.
The way they do, you didn't?
No, I hid stuff, which is why I encouraged her to talk to me. But now I'm wondering, maybe my mom had the right idea after all. Maybe her authoritative style parenting was
a better call.
Well, my big resolution last year was to try and back off from the intense support that I was giving my daughter at the time. And I realize now it was very situational, and I did have to continue offering intense support because it was an intense situation for her. And so as things got better, and for her, and as she became more confident and, had her own things kind of resolved for her, then I was able to back off, which was really good for me because for a while there, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so caught up in this, I shouldn't be doing this, but she needed me at the time. Right. I was there for her. And then as things became calmer for her and more stable, then I naturally backed off. So I was happy that we both could do that we could both kind of return to our our own concerns.
Yeah.
So that was good. So I don't know if I would ever make that a resolution again. Now I realize that she doesn't rely on me 24/7 when things are good. So, if she did, that would be a worry, but
Yeah.
So, and then I resolved, I resolved to work, do some more professional type, I was alluding to doing some more writing at the time, which I had intended to do, but fell through, thanks COVID. And then, of course, I wanted to spend more time in Vancouver. Well, I managed to make it up there once before we were all quarantined. So I haven't been back to Vancouver in almost a year.
Oh.
That's kind of makes me sad when I think about that. So yeah. So those were the things that didn't work out. And then, so I'm going to keep the same thing for my 2021 resolutions. I want to do more professional type work. I want to build my business and, maybe do a bit more writing. And I want to get back to Vancouver. So Same resolutions as last year. To make it easy on myself.
There you go.
Could happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
We will check back in.
Yep.
Next year. We resolved to keep doing the podcast for another whole year.
Yay!
Just so we can check in and see how we did. But that's it for today's round 1. Tune in tomorrow for our entertainment-themed round 2, and later in the week to find out what we're complaining about, obsessing about, and recommending right now. We're always interested in what you have to say, so drop us a comment on our website, our Facebook page, or Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.